Coming up in this episode, an inlet manifold sits next to some cheap JDM wheels. Barty gives wiring a plug. And we push beyond the limits of GoPro focusing, trying to achieve cinematic automotive fusion. HoonTV!
So it's been a bit of a while since I've done a piece to camera. I've been sick, so I haven't really wanted to talk about what's going on, but I have just hit one of my milestones, which is to get the oil cooler set up all in. All the lines are cut and fitted, or dummy fitted anyway. They just need to be fitted off, and then we can get into fitting the manifold. So I've got adapter coming off the block there. Basically dash 10 out of the rear fitting there into the oil filter. Got that mounted there because it hides it up and under the manifold. It fits perfect. And this oil filter mount, remote oil filter mount from Tarks, actually has a drain valve on it, so it's got an extra ring around the outside of it. So when you take the filter off, if you just crack it, it'll leak into that extra groove around the outside there. And on the bottom is a bulb fitting. So I'll have some silicone hose heading out under the car, and that'll be how I can change the oil filter without getting, hopefully, too much oil anywhere. So good little design that. From the oil filter block, travelling along the chassis here, nicely P-clipped all the way, underneath the radiator support, and then it'll track up and into this oil cooler via that fitting, out of that oil cooler, back into the ARC, mounted here behind the grille, and then out of the ARC, we come back, head straight up along the chassis again, as you might expect, and back into the engine there. So a lot neater than it used to be. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out, and this unlocks the ability now to start putting in things like the manifolds and the drive-by wire, which has all been wired up. Another update, so I've been painstakingly going through and replacing connectors. So this is a connector here for the water temp band pressure, which will go in the old engine coolant temp sensor spot on the manifold. You'll notice the injector plugs have all been changed over to the Denso type for the new injectors. If you keep going up this loom, there's a couple extra plugs, one for oil pressure and temperature off the oil cooler relocation block. And then this little bad boy here is the 6-pin for the drive-by-wire throttle actuator, if you want to call it that. So there's a little bit more. All of these looms have been, from the firewall forward actually, have been wrapped in new loom tape. So it's from Car Builders actually, the underbody loom tape, which is really good stuff. I haven't finished this bit here yet because I need to chop this old crank angle sensor wiring, and that will be replaced here by the sensor here for the cam angle sensor from Ross, and then you might see down the bottom there, I'll see if I can get a better vantage point here, the crank angle sensor, which is a Motec reluctor sensor for the 36T Thea -2 for crank angle. So I've still got a little bit of wiring to do there, but that'll be done once the manifold's back in, and I can pick up where the wiring sort of lies naturally off the front of the manifold. A bit excited about that. Flex fuel sensors in down the bottom there, as is the fuel pressure sensor. The vehicle speed sensor I have will go on the gearbox, in between the cable and the gearbox, which is an awesome little addition. Got some extra little plugs running up through here, some DTM plugs going in through the old factory cable port. And yeah, all of the cable loom here has all been tidied up. I think it's actually in the way there, so we're going to find out when I start fitting the motor in a sec. But in any case, there's plenty of extra. We can move it a little bit further away from the block and have the drive-by-wire motor sit nicely without any kind of fouling. Also got the head drain, the old head drain, which is old school brass, because back in the day we didn't have the nice fittings you can buy off the shelf now. It runs down this push-lock fitting, straight into this T-piece via a one-way valve and back into the sump. The other part of the T comes off the oil breather setup, which is this big tank here, kind of hiding because I don't want to scratch it, and then 2-12 breathers here, which will run forwards obviously, something like that, and run up to the rocker covers, which for a sneak peek have got some -12 breathers in them. I'm trying not to hurt them at the moment. So it's all looking pretty good, pretty happy with the progress so far. It's really starting to get towards the business end. These PRP aluminium cam gears just look awesome, and I went ahead and I did the water pump whilst the timing belt etc. was off. For fitting the gear down the bottom for the trigger sensor, you actually have to cut the backing timing belt plate in order to fit it in. I'll see if I can show you. But this plate here needs to be shaved back, as you can see. Otherwise it sits forward probably another 3 or 4 mil, which is kind of joins on to the same radius as what the belt cover sits on. But in order to have that chopper gear sitting out the front, that 36-2 tooth gear, which is a part of the actual timing belt gear out of the oil pump there, so it's all one unit, you have to take it off there. So I just used a Dremel to do that with a cut-off wheel, which was the easiest way to get in there and get it done. I need to grab my timing belt cover here, the lower one, and as a part of it I'll have to radius out around here, probably taking 5 or so mil, maybe 10 mil off that radius to be able to fit the gear in there nicely. And might be a little bit off the side as well, we'll have to have a look, in order to be able to make it all fit. So yeah, pretty happy with how it's all coming along. Inside the car, so inside that loom that's been rewrapped, we've got all the new wires for the drive-by wire, for the accelerator pedal, etc. And they're all sitting here in their infinite glory with a bunch of tags on them saying what they are. So there's a loom that comes from the driver's side, which has got signal ground, flex fuel signal, 5 volts, fuel pressure, and then your accelerator position sensors as well. Blah, 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 blah. And then out of the engine bay here, there's a whole bunch of wires. What isn't in yet, well, apart from the ECU, is the CAN bus setup, which I still have to run. And I've got the dash out at the moment because I'm getting ready to wire that up for the IC7 from Haltech. So looking forward to having a full digital dash with speed, etc. on it. All the warnings working, indicator, yada, yada, yada. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this because it's a bit dark. Yeah, it's a bit dark. Anyway, that's the drive-by-wire accelerator pedal there. Sorry, I can't really do anything with the light right now. So anywho, yeah. Lots more wiring hanging about there, but you know, it's only wiring, it's easy. Here's the full finished plenum ready to go. Looking forward to throwing that in, and as you can see there, the drive-by-wire.
Next time on HoonTV, Barty has a screw loose.
Really? The flipping magnetic.
We add braille to fittings in case someone blind is helping us. And some questionable wrist action appears on camera. HoonTV, bloody legends, get them a pint.